Hi there, beautiful souls. Today on the Richter Report for today, I am looking at a book that I actually read. It's the one that actually inspired me to start this book a week that I've been doing since December. And I actually read Trevor Noah's Born a Crime. So if you haven't read it, or if you live under a rock, or if you don't know who Trevor Noah is, he is the brilliant comedian from South Africa. Trevor Noah, he does a lot of the political commentary, political satire, and he's just brilliant. And he comes in and he's able to show a light of something that's going on in America like no one else before, and part of that is because he grew up in South Africa, and so he was able to grow up seeing what's going on in America from an outsider's perspective, but he also grew up in South Africa during the time of apartheid. So he comes in with a very singular focus. So I read Born a Crime. If you haven't read it yet, like everything that you would expect from Trevor Noah, like funny and smart and intelligent and witty. And he comes in. Now he actually explained, there's one little anecdote I want to share from that book. He explained that in South Africa, the Black community didn't have access, of course, in those days. There was no internet, there was no Google, there was no Wikipedia. You couldn't just access information. They were not given European history. They were taught in a segregated apartheid state. They were taught only what it was that the governing bodies wanted to teach them. So they would hear all these names of these great white leaders, and they aspired to be that. They didn't have access to the Herald Tribune, to the New York Post. They didn't have access to know exactly, and they weren't allowed to read, and they weren't allowed to congregate and talk about, there were no protests. There was nothing that allowed them to actually know of European history. So as a consequence to that, he said that there were a lot of people in the Black community in South Africa that would hear names that sounded powerful, like Mussolini and Stalin and Hitler, and that without knowing it, they would give their children these names. Now, much later in his life, without having any acknowledgement of what these names actually meant, when Trevor Noah was a teenager, he became a DJ, and he developed like this dance troupe, DJ hip hop kind of, he'd spin the tables and the dance troupe would come out. And one of their main dancers was a guy called Hitler. And this Trevor Noah and his DJ troupe were actually asked to come and speak or sort of spin in a Jewish school. And they started doing their spinning. And as they did it, the dance troupe came out, and their star dancer started doing like this kind of hip hop, gyrating, sort of fun dance. And of course, his name was Hitler. And so Trevor Noah's troupe started going, "Go Hitler, go Hitler, go, go, go Hitler," as Hitler was doing this gyrating dance on a stage at a Jewish school in South Africa. Unbeknownst to them, how insulting that would be. The principal, hearing this, automatically pulls the plug on Trevor Noah's DJ equipment, on the sound system. The music goes dead. All you hear is the dance troupe going, "Go Hitler, go Hitler." And as everyone's in shock, sitting there with their mouths gaping open, the troupe, Trevor Noah's troupe, had no idea what they had done that would be so insulting. And the principal, of course, assuming that this troupe is coming in being anti-Semitic and assuming that they're doing this on purpose, goes, "Oh, we can't, how dare you people come in here and insult us like that?" And of course, Trevor Noah and his troupe, not knowing what they did wrong, they're thinking that the "you people" means you Black people. How dare you come in and do this? So they're saying, "Well, forget you." And it started this whole fight and this division over a simple miscommunication, misunderstanding, not knowing each other's cultures and what would be insulting to each other's cultures. And that anecdote by itself is one of the great testimonies to what we're going through now. We need to learn each other's cultures. We cannot be insulted. We cannot pull the plug on someone else or pull the plug on what they're trying to teach us and develop for us, because then we lose out on a great piece of our own history and of their history and of our shared history. So just wanted to share that with you. Trevor Noah's Born a Crime shows you in an apartheid state what happens, and how little misunderstandings can become much bigger than they need to be. Until next time, tomorrow and Sunday, I'm coming back with one of the most quintessentially important pieces of poetry to the Black establishment or the anti-racist establishment. And then I'm going to top that off with the single most important book that has ever been written about the Black experience. See you next time. Until then, read on.